All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we got the one and only, we got the finest hip-hop duo to grace the hip-hop community. We got Illpo right here, live on the line. How are you guys doing this evening?
What up? What up? What up?
What up? What up? Fantastic, fantastic.
I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, I have been a fan of yous for a long time, man. So just being able to converse with you guys here this evening and welcome you guys on my radio station, it is such an honor, man. I hope everything is all well with you guys out there in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. And we want to say that we appreciate the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you being able to kind of spread the message. You know what I'm saying? The word, the gospel that is Illpo. We are definitely veterans in this hip hop game, and we've been doing this for a minute, repping North Carolina and the culture. So, we just appreciate you helping us expand our territory. You know what I'm saying?
And for the individuals that might not know, aren't quite familiar with Illpo, I was wondering if you guys can actually introduce yourselves individually. That way, individuals can kind of learn a little bit more about yourselves as separate artists.
Yeah, I guess I start. I'm J Bond 007, .5 of the mightiest duo, Illpo. Yeah, that's me. I released a solo project a couple years back called Bonsai, and me and the homie Boones have been a part of Illpo for, about 20 years right now. So we probably, I say about 10 to 15 projects in, but yeah, I'm .5 of Illpo, your boy J Bond. Everybody calls me JB.
As he said, .5 of the mightiest gang. You know what I'm saying? In one of his lines. On the other half, Mundae Boones. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of that simple. I released a solo project. We kind of stepping into our solo abilities, here, kind of diversifying our real estate. You know what I'm saying? So, we definitely have dropped a couple of solo projects over the past few years, but we have plenty of Illpo catalog, which is going to continue to come. So, yeah, together, J Bond, Mundae Boones, we formed Illpo.
And also, I have to ask, man, what is the story behind Illpo? Because me personally, like I said during the intro of this interview, I've been a fan for a long time, man. So one thing I've always wanted to know is how did you guys first meet and form this duo? Because when you put on an Illpo project, doesn't matter if it's, your 2006 project or your brand new one that came out last year, you guys have such phenomenal chemistry together when you get together and release a project.
That one, Jet.
Well, Illpo actually started as a group of 5 members, and the name of the group was Ill Position. When the other 3 members were not a part of the actual rap portion of our conglomerate, we broke down the name to Illpo. And, in actuality, full circle, Illpo was formed on the campus of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University here in Greensboro, which is the biggest public, historically black college and university in the States. And ironically, this past weekend, I met the guy that I could say partly responsible for bringing us together, because I was freestyling on the radio. And I was on the 3rd floor of our dormitory, and a couple of other members that formed Illpo, including Boones, was on the 2nd floor. And they heard about this cat that was up on the 3rd floor freestyling and killing it. And therefore, they walked upstairs, they meet me, and the rest is history. We rapped all night that night, and it continued. And the next day, we did the same thing. Next day, we did the same thing. Next thing you know, we're in the studio recording records together. But the artist that I met last weekend was Mad Skills, or Now Skills the DJ. He had a song called Non-Factor, and that's the song I was freestyling over. But, yeah, that's really a short version of how we met.
Full circle moment.
I was going to say that as well. It definitely sounds like in the right place at the right time type of moment as well.
Yeah. We definitely, since that day, it was ironic. The first Ill Position song was a me and J Bond collaboration, Mundae Boones and J Bond collaboration. I want to say Maglamont PJ. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that.
That was like the first official. Like, nah, we gonna start writing records. We gonna do songs, and that was the first song. So it's just kind of ironic that, as the kind of wheels turn with everything, that me and him is still, kind of doing it, and doing it at a very high level. We we've seen a lot of people over the years, you know, kind of start and come in, and, you know, for whatever reason, you know, and not specifically with our group, but for whatever reason may need to step back or do something different. And a lot of times people's skills deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? Like any sport, basketball, football, you know, guys have a expiration date on their career, and if you don't keep those knives sharp, if you don't keep those bars sharp, you know, you might get swallowed up by a bigger fish. So, you know, thankfully, you know, me and this guy do a great job of keeping each other sharp, and that's one of the things that allowed us to kind of stay on point for as long as we had.
And also as well, man, February 15th of 2006, you guys actually released, in my personal opinion, the phenomenal 8-track album titled Grind Harder. I was wondering if you could actually tell our listeners the story behind this earlier release project, and of course, is it actually still available to be streamed or purchased today?
Wow. Okay. Let me get into this real quick. So I'm gonna take you back a little bit. I'm gonna take you back to 2004. At the time, I should date Fantasia Barrino, who won the American Idol that year. I don't know if you remember that name, but you know, Fantasia is a big, real well-known, you know, R&B singer, and she's from our area, and we all kind of came up together. And after, you know, her winning American Idol, we released a mixtape called Red Clay Soldiers, and it was received like, it had a great response. We was on radio. I mean, we had the radio playing mixtape records. You know what I'm saying? So we had to follow up the actual impact that Red Clay Soldiers had. So we big shots to my brother Overdose and his wife Adele Hollins. Overdose is our producer. They now have a board game called Last Couple Standing that's doing phenomenal numbers. It's taking over the social media platform. And we went to Atlanta, and Boones, would you say we recorded the album in a weekend? Possibly?
I wouldn't say it was a weekend. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, we recorded the album in a weekend, and that was during a time where me and Boones decided upon ourselves, like, you know what? We're going to focus solely on music. We didn't have it each. We didn't have regular jobs, and we literally grinded harder. We were at gas stations. We were at the club. After the club closes, we was traveling up and down the East Coast and selling physical copies of that CD, and we sold thousands and thousands and thousands of that particular album. That album also features Kalina from Diddy's Dirty Money. Him and the two females. One of those females was Kalina, and she's on that album also. But yeah, that song had crazy radio play. It's definitely a vibe. It would take you back to a 06 vibe, and yeah. It still rings bells to this day. People are always bringing up Grind Harder. But that's a little backstory in regards to how that came about.
I think I wanted to, just to add on, and again, it's crazy that just to hear that, first of all, kudos to you for doing your homework. But when we dropped Red Clay Soldiers, it was I would say, a more grounded, you know, we just rapping our ass off. I don't know if I can say that, rapping our behind off.
We're completely uncensored, so definitely have at it.
Rapping the fucking wall. But when we dropped Grind Harder, you know, one of the things, Overdose, shout out to him again, used to, you know, get us like, y'all got to sound bigger. Like, you know, y'all got to go for a bigger audience than just, you know, your back. Like, y'all got to get a universal, like, bigger sound. So Grind Harder had like a big sound. It actually messed a few people who was Red Clay Soldier fans up because sonically it just sounded different. You know, and that was kind of, again, us just expanding and being able to diversify our sound a little bit. And it's done that over the years. If you listen to all of our projects, you know, going back to Red Clay Soldiers to now, you'll hear the evolution. You'll hear the growth in our music. You'll kind of see the transformation from us, you know, to really, you know, young kids, you know, to grown men with responsibility. So you can literally hear that if you listen and go through all of the projects, which I think is the dope thing.
And the one song off that project that I really, really loved, man, was actually Asshop, featuring Split the Villain.
Shout out to D.I. Wow.
South Bronx, our South Bronx brother, actually a relative of Overdose, and we did a lot of work with Split the Villain during those days. He's out in the Bronx, the New York City guy. We actually did a spot in Charlotte for the main radio station in Charlotte during that time, and yeah, people were really feeling Asshop, especially in the strip clubs too. Yeah, Asshop.
Hey man, if you're gonna end an album and put a last song on there, that is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Look at that Asshop.
Yeah, that was what was it, like a Make It or Break It or something that it played on?
Yep.
And everybody made it. Everybody made it. Shout out to Ben.
And also, as well, jumping ahead in the timeline there, in 2018, you guys were actually featured on OC from NC's album titled It's Not You. It's Me on the song Ego. I was wondering, how did you guys originally meet OC? And of course, what is it like just working alongside a fellow North Carolina hip-hop legend like him?
Well, I'm gonna jump on this, Jay. You know, first of all, shout out to not only OC but our other watch brother and B Squared, one of the best producers, you know, coming out of the state. You know, we kind of were on the circuit, you know, doing shows around and in the area. They were making a little bit of noise. You know, we were making a little bit of noise, and we kind of got lined up on the same bill. And you know, you hear this term often in hip hop, but it rings so true to this day. This real, recognized real. And immediately, you know, once we kind of like did, I think, a show, it was kind of like, yo, y'all dope, let's link up. And we linked up for a session. This was way before we did Ego. Because I think we actually were on a few records prior to It's Not You, It's Me. I think we did 2014 with them, maybe another one or two. But, you know, that first studio session, we knew. You know, everybody's going in the booth, you know, Bond went in there. You know, I think it was Dreamer was the first one we did with them. I'm not 100% sure, but Bond went in, and when they came out, everybody's face like, whoa. You know, I go in there, everybody's like, whoa. Oga's in there like, whoa. We kind of felt that natural chemistry, which is one of the things that, you know, helped birth Watts, is that we all kind of seemed we kind of like A-alikes. And we had different styles. Everybody's style is different, much like, you know, Illpo in itself, but it just kind of helps bring out the best in everybody else. So, you know, once we started doing shows with them and started recording songs with them, we kind of, those are our brothers, man. We rep the same set as them. You know, we made a lot of music together, and the intention is to make a lot more. We actually going in the studio tomorrow night, I believe, and we got a joint with O that we're going to be laying down. So, yeah, we still working.
And also as well, April 13th of 2019, you guys also had the opportunity to open up for the one and only Benny the Butcher for The Butcher Is Coming tour. I was wondering, from what you actually can recall, can you tell us a bit more about this particular performance? And of course, did you guys get the opportunity to chop it up with Benny before or after the concert?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big shots to, you know, Quadri. Basically, anything Griselda that came to the state during that time, we got the phone call. So big shots to Benny. We did get an opportunity to chop it up with him during the performance and after. And I think this was after Tanner Talk 2, the first time we had a show, and then maybe about 2 months later, we opened up for Conway that came to the state at that time, and he brought Benny out. So yeah, it's definitely a great look, and big shots to Griselda, because I think one of the things that Griselda has done, for lack of better terms, is thug motivation. I think it's been inspiring for cats of our demographic and our age to see that, you know, you can still remain relevant and give that shit that's true to you, and that's what we've always done. You know, ironically, being with them a couple of years ago, and then opening up for Conway just this past October on Halloween, we opened up for Conway this past Halloween, and just seeing the evolution in regards to just the overall appearance and the amount of security they you know what I'm saying, they roll with now in comparison to then. So it's a beautiful thing to see how they've evolved and become so much bigger than just the underground. So yeah, big shots to Griselda, man, the whole Buffalo.
For that.
And also as well, December 14th of 2021, you guys actually released the phenomenal 13-track album titled Willpower. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a story and inspiration behind this most recently released album. And of course, is there any hard copies available to be purchased of that project today?
Yeah, Willpower was really a testament, just to kind of everything we've been through, like I was alluding to earlier. We've seen a lot of cats come and go. I think one of the things that kind of, I guess it's kind of, I don't want to say shocks everybody, but we hear a whole lot of like, man, y'all are getting better. Like, y'all not just, okay, status quo, but cats who have been rocking with us since, Red Clay, Grind Harder, From the Hood Like You, Easy to Hate, X1V. I mean, we've done a lot of work, classic. What we consistently hear is y'all are getting better. And the message is so relatable because, again, we aren't, coming on this flamboyant tip. We aren't trying to out-cool the next person, out-hustle the next person to show that, hey, look at all the fly cars and all the ladies. Like, that's just not the lane that we in. So, we stay in our lane. We make our music, and we continue to push forward. So, a lot of the music that you got on Willpower was really just a celebration of, like, us continuing to maintain the standard of music that, we release, of the bars that we give, of the production. We had great production on there, by the way. And we've been blessed to work with some great producers over the years. Like I alluded to earlier with B Squared, Jay was talking about Overdose. We've worked with JJ the Genius, who's done plenty of work on Boondocks and Breaking Bad. We've worked with Grammy-nominated producer Drugs Beats. In our Worst Case Scenario project, Dopamine, he also did J. Bond's Bonsai. That's the work on my album. Nobody asked for this. With the Willpower album, we enlisted the services of one of our North Carolina brothers, Gab Beats, and, this is a platinum selling producer. He has plaques on his wall, and a lot of people, may sleep on North Carolina, but we got some monsters down here. But the production that we enlisted, we got Tyler Westover, as he's known in the area, doing big work. I think he's working with Dave East right now, working with Cool and Dre. He's on the album. And we got our guys, Mark and Grim, SAC Royalty, you know what I'm saying? They've done some work on there. So we definitely had a good amount of diverse production that was on the project. Did I miss anybody, Jay?
Showdown.
How can I forget?
Yeah, big shout out to Showdown. He did records like Uncle Buck, Bucharest, and look forward to more work coming with us with Showdown, because together, we basically formed something called Angry Fat Kids. So big shout out to Showdown also that was on that Willpower.
And I gotta say as well, man, the one song that I really enjoyed was Uncle Buck, man. I don't know. I don't know if it was just how it's named after a movie or something that drew me to it, but I really enjoyed that particular song on that project.
Yeah, what's crazy? I actually had an Uncle Buck, and one of his favorite sayings, and rest in peace, that was my guy. He was a hustler. He was a socialite. He did a lot of things good and bad. But one of the things that always stood to me when he would talk to women, he would always tell them, "Look, I may not have what you want, but I definitely got what you need." But once I heard the hook for the record, I was like, "Yo," his face popped in my head. And I was like, "Yo, let's call this record Uncle Buck." And yeah, that's where that name came from. So big shout out to my Uncle Buck. Yeah.
Word up! Shout out to Uncle Buck. Wow.
And I gotta say, man, that is definitely a phenomenal saying, man. You can just hear that he was a hustler right there, man.
Yeah.
Of many things.
And also as well, February 26th of 2022, you guys actually teamed up with Gavin Mysterio to actually release the song titled Flyinglariat that I'm actually going to be playing immediately following this interview here this evening. What can our listeners actually expect from this song when I play it right here on the Canadian FM dial, if this is their first time hearing Flyinglariat?
Oh, you're going to get energy. Shout out to Gab Maestro. That's definitely, like I said, the fam right there. You're going to get the energy, the instrumentation Gab puts into it. You'll feel the emotion in the music and you'll hear the instrumentation, and then you're going to hear these bars. It's definitely a vibe whenever you hear that record. You could put it on to start your morning. You could put it on to set your night off. You could really put it on at any point in time. So, definitely shout out to Gap. And again, I appreciate you breaking out. Clearly you have the timestamps. We've been working, so definitely thank you to you, you know what I'm saying, for just being able to point out some of the things that you have. I'm impressed. So, we've done a lot of interviews with, different entities, and this is by far one of the best.
Hey, man, I definitely appreciate the love, man. And I just got to ask about this album cover, man. Like, single cover, I should say, because me personally, I used to be a huge wrestling fan and whatnot. I don't got a lot of time to watch it now, but just, if you don't mind me asking, what made you guys decide to choose, obviously, the individual in the cover is doing a flying Larry, but what made you decide to choose these two wrestlers doing this particular wrestling move?
You're the science, Jay.
Yeah.
Very wonderful.
The Flying Lariat, when we were kids, there was one wrestler that was synonymous for the Flying Lariat, and it was Barry Windham. And ironically, that's on the cover. I don't really know who the other cat is, but Barry Windham is the guy that's actually doing the Flying Lariat. Funny story, because we're in North Carolina. North Carolina is the hotbed for, was a hotbed for wrestling for a long time. NWA, National WCW, all of those things. So we're really in the mecca of those guys. And I have a close friend who's a wrestling historian, and also he books events with some of our wrestlers that we grew up on. Rock and Roll Express, Ric Flair, Barry Windham, all of these people. So when we put the record out and shared, and he actually provided me with the picture. He was like, I hit him. I said, yo, you got a dope picture of Barry Windham doing the Flying Larry. He said, actually, I do. And he provided me that picture. We tagged Barry Windham in it. He commented on it. He liked it. And, hey, there you are. So you got the Flying Larry and you got Barry Windham on the cover. And you got your boys Illpo doing the score.
But I have to ask, what is next for you guys, Illpo, man? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all again for having us. Basically, we got some shows lined up for the summer. Like I said, we are literally in the studio tomorrow night. Like I said, we're going to be adding some bars to this joint that OC sent us. But we cooking up about 3 or 4. What you think, Jay? About 3 or 4 projects currently simultaneously. We got the Dr. Octopus arms right now.
That's right. We got the octopus mixed with all Medusa snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got a few different joints to come out. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to let the cat out the bag too early, but you can definitely expect to hear a lot coming down the pipeline this year. We might get a J Bond solo album. I'm putting that out there. But at a minimum, you're gonna definitely get this Illpo work 2 or 3 times over.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say is, man, for the listeners out there, make sure you continue to support the art, because without supporting the art, that's all it ends up being for artists is a hobby. But if you support the art, it gives the artist, and that's either visual art, music, whatever. I mean, I'm saying, you could write on Tupperware and sell it. I'm saying, that's still art. But support the art, because we need the support. It's good, and support is not just buying something. That is also with sharing something. That's also with playing something for your friend that jumps in the car with you that you've never heard before. And you never know. You may change that person that you're listening to live. So just be aware and continue to support the things that you like, and also share something that you may not like to somebody that you think may like it. You know what I'm saying? So continue to share the word, because that is super duper important.
And also, guys, this is the time of the interview, right quick, that I give a chance for the individuals that do slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give, like, shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Illpo if they're not already doing so.
Yeah, so,
go ahead. You got it.
Oh, well, you know, our IG collective is at Illpo World. Big shots to our brand team that helps that particular page be up and running and functioning. I have my personal page at Illpo_Bonsai. We also have a Twitter handle at Illpo, and on Facebook at Illpo. You can also go support any of our music on our Bandcamp page, which is Illpo1. Illpo, the number 1, .bandcamp.com. And you can stream all of our music on all of the platforms, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you tend to get your music. And if you want to get physical copies, all you have to do is message us on one of those social media platforms. We'll be sure to get back with you in a very, very timely manner.
And you can always Google, at the end of the day, worst case scenario. Shout out to Drugs Beats again. You know that's one of the projects we drop. Huge project. Worst case scenario, Google Illpo. Do the homework. You know what I'm saying? Do the math. It'll take you down a rabbit hole, and I promise you it's an enjoyable rabbit hole. Pause. It's an enjoyable rabbit hole, though. So go down that rabbit hole if you just Google it. Otherwise, you know, like JB said, gave you all the handles. Go follow the Illpo World page on IG. My IG is Boones, BOONES_Illpo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can follow. Tap in, man. Tap in. The music is phenomenal. But what we can promise you is if you a diehard hip-hop fan, some of the music that's coming out of the state of North Carolina is some of the best that's coming out of the States. And we can definitely promise you again that we are holding that flag and giving you some of that timeless hip hop that, you know, it's for the heads and it's for grown common, you know what I'm saying, just grounded people. So if you're about that real raw hip hop, you know, follow your boys, fuck with us.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege just to chop it up and interview North Carolina's finest hip-hop duo here this evening. So thank you so much for your time, guys.
Man, thanks for having us, man. We certainly appreciate it. And hopefully, man, if we can ever make it out that way, you know, across the state lines, we definitely want to be able to do some work and come get some live shows if the opportunity presents itself. So, man, y'all stay tapped in, and hopefully we'll get to actually see y'all, in person soon.
Hey, man, I gotta say that would definitely be a hell of a blessing, man. We definitely need that real hip hop down here on this end, man. We don't get a lot of real hip hop concerts. We get maybe, I would say one show maybe every couple years. The East Coast down here on Canada doesn't get very much hip hop love, man. So I'm trying to bring it down here as well.
Oh yeah. Let us know how we can help. We on board.
Hey, man, most definitely, guys. Thank you so much, and I'm pretty sure we definitely shall talk soon.
Sounds good, bro.
Peace.
Peace.